Hi guys, how are you?
Hi, Rachel.
Thanks for
Hi.
having us.
Of course, at a start, I wanted to ask you both about it's not a single place setting, but it kind of is throughout this movie because if she's not in this apartment, she's for the most part in this apartment building. And so for you guys, when you're making a horror movie that has all these nooks and crannies and dark spaces, but is in one building, what was the biggest challenge for both you as a director and you as an actor to kind of navigate all of the twists and turns that the movie would have in that confined space?
So I think creatively, when you're so constrained, it almost allows you to be more creative and bonkers because you have so much control over this one space. So we designed every nook and cranny, as you said, every little prop on the shelves. Everything is very specific. And I saw this location of Grandma's New York apartment as a Russian doll, as a cavern full of secrets. The deeper you go, the more you discover. And visually trying to split it into sequence so that it's always dynamic, always scary, and always propulsive.
More than anything, I just try to be as present as possible. In a way, Rosario was learning as she was going, like I was learning as I was going. So it just felt like it was slowly getting worse and darker, and I was just letting myself get there. I try not to overthink it. I try not to have a perfect process. I just try to be present and be as vulnerable to any emotion that I'm feeling at the moment.
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask you, you are for the most part kind of by yourself for a lot of this. It's her and a dead body or her and like a creepy vase. And so is it do you like the moments where like David Dastmalchian kind of comes in or the supers like
Yes.
do you like the like
I mean, it's
solitude?
not just any person. It's David Desmalchian. Like he is legendary. This man could be on set for 2 seconds and or the whole film, and he's so memorable. I'm so happy that he said yes, and the fact that he was so kind and nice and willing to work and willing, he would tell me, "What do you need from me? Is there anything else you want me to give you?" And just so collaborative. It just, makes you appreciate even more the work that you do, and having great people around you is really great.
Yeah, and Felipe, I do love that you balance humor and the scares really well in this movie because even when I'm like, oh, something's gonna happen, something's jumping, something's going down, you hear Rosario making a joke about the fact that her grandma is already dead. And she's like, well, you're already dead, so we're gonna pivot to the next possible thing. And I think that's kind of a fun way of looking at horror. Was it always your intention to have those little lighter moments in there, or did it just kind of like come out throughout the process?
With the humor, I give all props to our writer, Alan Treza, who is an amazing horror comedy writer. We saw in the darkness, Burying Your Ex. So he really had that built in from the script. And then it's just about, casting too. I think when I saw Emeraude, I knew her from the rom-coms, and I said, "This is perfect." Her comedy, like timing, but also her strength and her boldness. That's exactly what this movie is looking for. So it was a really perfect fit.
Yeah. And Emerald, you made talking about stocks look natural, which I was like, most of the time I'm watching a movie, I'm like, you don't know a single thing that's coming out your mouth about stocks. But you
I
made
didn't. I
it
still don't. No.
seem like
But
you were
thank you.
I only kind of do. I don't even.
but would you have so many strong like beginning moments with Rosario as a character and like when she's younger, her Catholic upbringing, her relationship with her grandmother as a child, and then her into like being someone in the stock world. What for you was the biggest kind of like nod to like, okay, well, I know who this character is when you were reading all of that up front?
Well, to me, sometimes I think we've all experienced that we try to be someone else to fit in, and we think that's what's going to make them accept us even more. But what we're doing is we're kind of digging ourselves into a hole. I think there's nothing more than to like feel proud of where you come from and who you are and the family sacrifices and just being authentically you. And I think that's really what makes you spread your wings and fly as high as you can, and you become fully who you are. So to me, it was kind of like navigating also that process of like, why was she hiding who she is? And in a way, I mean, she was hiding in the family aspect, but we as people, we can hide so many other things from our lives. So it was kind of peeling away those things that are just not healthy for someone and letting go, right? Because then the demons come and haunt you, and they were literally haunting her, in her consciousness, but also in the physical world. So it was kind of like a mix of dealing with your own demons and how you have to let go to just fully become.
Yeah, and I do love a character who, like, I knew everything about her when she said, "I'll take the train." I was like, "Oh, you're not like you were not rich prior to this because you still will take the subway." And I appreciate
Yeah.
that in a character.
Yeah, she knows her ways around the block.
I was like, I appreciate that. That's me. I'm like, I'm not Ubering. I'm gonna take the train. But I wanted to ask both of you. One of my favorite things is that, like, when we check in with these random side characters. Like, I love that super who is creepy as can be, like doing electrical work with no lighting situation whatsoever. Which one of those kind of like side characters that we check in with every once in a while were your guys' favorites?
Oh man, I'll take Paul Ben Victor, who played the super that you
Mm.
mentioned.
Well, this
It,
is the thing. Paul Van Victor comes in and he changes everything. He's like, I want to do this and I'm going to have this and I don't know. And you just can't say no because he's so good at it.
he came in with 3 pages of his own lines, and he was like, "I think my character, had 2 wives in Atlantic City, and his mom has a dog." And I'm like,
Even the
he's
dog is important.
he really not just that, but he really immersed himself in this role. He put a thing like a rock in his shoe, and he would just give himself this limp, and he would have it offset too to just fully immerse himself in this New Yorker character. So he was a blessing. He's an incredible actor, and so much fun to work with.
I love that guy so much. I love him. She's trying to leave, and he's just like, I was like, you are gonna die. That's electrical work, and no, there's no one around you to help you.
Yeah.
Um, but for my last quick thing, I wanted to just ask you guys if you had to describe Rosario in one word to get people to get excited to see it, what word would you use?
Sacrifice.
Ah, you took mine.
I didn't take yours. You were too late.
Uh, yeah, I think roller coaster, bloodbath, rainy-esque,
Mm,
giallo-esque, like Italian horror from the 70s. But
Cat
also
under the bed.
yeah,
Horror.
all of that.
I 100% agree. You said Raimi-esque. I was like, yep, that's why I liked it because I love the Evil Dead movies. But thank you guys so much for talking with me. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait for everyone else to get to see Rosario.
Thank you,
Thank
Rachel. So much fun.
You have a great one.
you. Go
Bye.
on.